welcome to Soul Sessions with Narda and Michelle. I'm Michelle Borrell, and
And
I
I'm
have with
Narda
me,
Mohammed.
yes, hi.
Yeah.
It is truly a pleasure to be here with you, middle of the
Yeah.
week, middle of the day. And we want to say a special welcome to our international guest. It's truly an honor to have you here with us. So let's welcome
Yes.
all of our viewers from our pages. Narda, please welcome your
Oh my
viewers.
gosh, this is the first time that I'm including my beautiful people from We Are All One, that page of 40,000 people from all over the world. A lot of people aren't, they don't quite know the face behind the admin. So, yes, and my beautiful YouTube following, my Facebook, all these amazing for my clients, my friends, my acquaintances, all you amazing people that I've met through Facebook. I've included you guys for the past 3 weeks. We've been doing only the Caribbean. So today is the first day we are actually including the international peeps.
So we say a special welcome to our international viewers. Thank you for joining us on Soul Sessions with Michelle and Narda. And we're giving you a lot of warmth coming from our hearts. So we're going to start
Definitely.
things off by looking at our downloads for today. So Narda, what is on your heart and mind?
Uh, well, it's so interesting. I'll give you a real practical download of something that happened to me yesterday. I was actually scrubbing the tub, right? Like cleaning the bathroom, the tub, and I slipped and I fell in the bathtub. But I didn't quite exercise extreme wisdom, right? Because you don't you so I slipped. But I slipped and I fell and I sat there for a minute and it hit
Sorry to
me.
hear that. Well, it
Yes,
literally hit you.
yes, it literally hit me, but it also hit me in awareness that, and I started to scrub the bottom. So I was like, okay, I fell to the ground and I continued it on the task. It's almost like the same thing that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks. Like,
Right.
despite where you fall, when you fall, there is opportunity at that level. And so then I sat there for like a 5 minutes and I thought to myself, it's like, how often we fall and something happens and there are opportunities at that level that we don't quite capitalize on. There's
Yeah.
things that we can still continue to do that is not on the higher level that we previously were. And it got me thinking because for the past few weeks I myself been going through some really deep diving within myself, and to see that sometimes when we are not our highest vibration or we're not our highest perky self, there's still opportunities at that level for us to capitalize on or for us to like dig deeper. Because the reason I say that, oftentimes there are things that you can see at that level when you're down, that when you're higher, you're distracted by the goodness, by life, by the beauty, by your emotions are balanced, and you can't really, it will in hindsight you would see the wisdom, but not necessarily the very detail of the when you're at the lower level. So yeah, that's like partially of what been coming up in terms of my yesterday experience, and I wanted to share, but we can definitely dive deeper in terms of that.
Wow. That is definitely very deep because even at that moment, you were able to find not
Mm-hmm.
just a lesson, but you used it as
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to do something.
Yes. And I think that's the thing, that when we fall, it can be whatever situation life handed us or whatever we're going through in terms of healing ourselves or some sort of past experience happening in whatever area of our life, we get distracted by the fall. And yes, you have to, because I fell and I was like, ouchie. I was like, I hit my arm, my legs, my hip, whatever. But then I sat there. I was like, then I heard like the voice of God flowed through me and saying like, you see, this is what happens at this level. You see, you started to clean all over again, even as I was at that level. But it was
Yeah.
hilarious when I look back on it, because really when we are in that place, we're so distracted by our emotions, by the actual fall of it, or even the situation that got us to that level, that we don't quite see the opportunity that we can grasp at that
So
place, you
the
know?
quote that is coming to me from this is don't be distracted by the fall, embrace it all. So even the
Oh,
fall has something falling onto you that is
yeah,
opportunity. You may
yeah.
have fallen, but opportunity is falling on you.
Yeah, and it's another thing too, like when we make it about other people or the people who played the role or the roles in the falling, right? And
Yes.
we make it about them outside of ourselves, something that we said, in the previous episodes. And anybody who's listening on who probably might want to watch those previous episodes could grab it on YouTube,
Yes.
or even Michelle's page, or my page. But it's like in that energy, there's so much that we can grasp hold, we can really tap into. But yeah, so much I think will come forward as we dive deeper into that.
I want to take the opportunity as we're getting some comments coming in. Marika Edwards Manswell, Mrs. Manswell, good
Oh,
afternoon to you. She says, I am finally catching this live, M. It is
beautiful.
fantastic to have you on. And with us every week, we have Michelle Williams Wilson.
Oh, hi,
Thank you for
Michelle.
joining us again. Thank you. Good day to you. And it is truly a pleasure to be here with you. I want to encourage you to follow Narda, all of her social media platforms. You can get her at trauma underscore coach underscore Narda. And to book a session with her, simply visit www at nardamahammed.com. So that's www.nardamahammed.com. Thank you so much, Narda. And talking a
You're
bit
welcome.
about what is on my heart and mind
Yes.
today,
Yes.
excuses.
Tell me.
True story. So last week, I love food. I love
Yes.
foods. Food is just, it's an
You and I
experience.
both.
I don't just eat, I,
Hmm.
I eat. And my colleague at work on air tweets, he said, Michelle, it's time to join the gym. I said, all right, I'm coming. Monday came. I had excuses just swirling around my head. I defeated those excuses. I got dressed. On my way to work, excuses came on so strongly. The
Mm,
excuse of, I have so much to do. I
mm,
have meetings around that time. I have that thing that I want to get crossed off of my list. Or maybe I will start after the Christmas period because I'm so busy right now. So I went to work, saw my colleague, and he was like, he just gave me a look. When I gave all of those excuses, he just gave me a look. And I said, oh, I'm giving excuses.
mm,
Okay, let me recognize I'm a boss. I work for myself. I am able to determine what time I can do things. I just have to make the time because we make the time for whatever or whoever we think is important to us.
that is so true. That is so true.
And I am happy that I powered through those excuses.
Mm,
Sometimes we're using the excuse of we don't have enough finances.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes we are using the excuse of we don't have enough time. Sometimes
mm-hmm,
we're using the excuses of maybe not right now, but then
mm-hmm,
when? So, what's on my heart
mm-hmm,
and mind today? It's all about excuses, just doing it. There's no right time other
mm-hmm.
than now. Just do it. And I'm
Right.
reminded of the story of Moses, for example, when Moses was given the assignment, all he had in hand was a staff. He only
Mm,
had a staff.
yeah.
And he used the excuse as well. His excuse was, um, I may not be the right person because my speech, that
Mm,
excuse, it didn't fly. So he had to do it. But all he had was
mm,
a staff, but he did it. He did
wow.
it. Whatever you have in your hand right now, you
Right.
have the ability to do what you
Mm-hmm,
need to do.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
again, I'm reminded when I started my bakery, before it was something in which I had a physical place at a point in time for it. When I had the storefront, before I started that, I didn't even have a rolling pin, but I had to
yeah.
make pastry. So I
Mm,
found a bottle that I sanitized, and that was my rolling pin to
wow.
start with. So, what
Mm,
is your staff? What is your rolling pin? What is
Mm.
the excuse that is preventing you from accepting your divine purpose to start now? If you're
Wow.
asking the question when, your answer today is now.
Hmm.
That's when.
And it's so amazing that you're saying this because all of us could find ourselves in that in some form or the other, and at some measure. And starting now doesn't have to be literally the showing up like physically. It can be brainstorming. It can be putting wood to paper. It can be stuff like that. And I started um, listening to Will Smith's new book, the Audible version of it, and he was talking about laying the brick. He's like, his dad had given him a task of building a wall, and he and his brothers, little kids, were so distracted by the huge wall. Like the thing is, like, we have this big, ginormous wall to build because he was like probably 7 or 8, somewhere around there. And his father, for weeks and weeks, they took almost a year to build that wall. He and his older brother. And what
Wow.
happened? The father said, "Don't focus on the wall. Focus on laying the brick by brick
By brick,
by brick."
by brick.
And he said he was like, "Well, I know how to do a perfect brick, to lay a perfect brick." So that is what he had to focus on, laying the one brick and then laying
Yes.
another brick and laying another brick. And that touched me as I was listening to it yesterday, because how often we look at the wall or the task or
Yes.
the actual big thing, the goal or the destination, and we get so overwhelmed. Oh, because you quantum leaped into the destination already without even going through the steps. And even something we talked about last week, about taking it small bite-sized pieces, like starting
Yes.
small, is last week or the week before. And
Yes.
something I have to say, I have to share about Michelle. Michelle is a mom of four. Michelle is a radio personality in Trinidad. Michelle is a published author. She is building her empire in terms of publishing. Michelle is so much, and so when she talks about all of this in terms of the gym, she's not talking about it from just the gym. She's talking about, she's a wife, she's a mother, she is an entrepreneur, she is a mentor, she is so much more, and she's also right now helping so many other women lead with their power. So
Wow.
I had to say that because a lot of people, especially that we're introducing ourselves to like the grander market of people, or international, a lot of people don't know us, the people who've been tuning in for the past 3 weeks, that they know a little bit about you and I. But I had to just say that, Michelle.
Wow. Yeah, true. And that's the thing. I didn't even think of the excuses in terms of you hear a
Hmm.
person saying, ah, I wear so many hats. And usually when I hear persons say that, I think to myself,
Well, you're an inspiration to me. I must say that you're a total inspiration
because
to
we
me
just have
because.
to do.
Hmm.
Yeah. But thank you. Go with that thought. Sometimes you're kind of loving this.
Yes.
You didn't win the lotto, I'm just saying. But I'm loving it. And I think it's an example as well in terms of how we should treat with our family, our
Hmm.
friends, our
Hmm.
sisters,
Hmm.
people in general. Nothing
Yeah.
is wrong with lighting another candle. Nothing is
Oh
wrong
gosh,
with
yeah.
having someone feel
Totally.
big or crediting someone or saying, you're
Yeah.
amazing, you're great,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
admire you, you're an
Yeah.
inspiration, you keep me
Yeah.
going. And I can say that with regards to Narda as well. Narda is
Oh.
absolutely humble. Yet every time I speak to Narda on the phone, she's in a different part of the world because her clients, they contact her to head to Pakistan, to Italy, to
No, I've
France.
never been to Pakistan, Dubai, not Pakistan yet.
It's Dubai. I'm sorry, but I know it's
But you're
somewhere
calling it into
far.
existence. I would love to go to
Yes,
Pakistan.
yes. So it's coming. It's coming. And interestingly, we never say these things by chance. There's no
Mm,
such thing as error.
mm.
It's all in divine timing, divine purpose, and that was divine speaking. So Pakistan, it's here. But
Who knows?
Hawaii,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I am amazed, and yet still I'm thankful that
Mm.
if I call, if I message, Narda always finds some way to reach out and say, hey, me,
Aw.
hello, hello, hello.
Yes.
That's her
That's
line
my
that I love.
opening.
Yes, and I did share this before, and I will share it again that I've done sessions with Narda, and sessions with Narda, I would say it's truly life changing. I remember in one of my sessions with you, I didn't even tell you that I was an author, and you told me there's a book you have, and with that book is it's going to stay quiet for some time, and then after, just like that, one day
Wow,
you
I
win an
can't
award,
remember.
and it
Yeah, it's
literally happened like that. I was
mm-hmm.
amazed. And that is
Yeah.
why you're one of the first persons I called, like, Narda, I really want to know one.
It's so interesting. Like again, I'm gonna tie in what you say. Like I can't remember saying that, right? But I know like the ability that God has gifted me to be able to. Okay, Omar. Yes, Omar. I met him in Dubai.
Yes,
Omar, let's arrange. We can do some stuff in Pakistan together. I would love that.
I
Yeah.
would like to say I am inviting myself, being
I met
part of those
Omar.
that needed in this manifestation. Thank you, Omar.
Yes. Omar and myself and another mutual friend, we sat on the beach in Sharjah, I think, in Dubai, and we meditated early in the morning. We went very early in the morning and we sat there. And I've met Omar since then. That was over 5, 6 years ago. But I lost
Yes,
my train of thought.
because we went with Pakistan. It seems like every time we come on, we're getting a trip somewhere.
We got one to Miami, so that we
Yes, yes, we did.
yes. If the thought of the information comes back, I'm gonna jump on it. But
Yes,
Omar said for
divine.
sure.
Sure, Michelle, you are most welcome. I graciously accept. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
if what I was about to say, I totally lost it, but it's all in divine flow in the
It's
moment.
all there. It's all
Yeah,
there. Yes.
yeah.
But in all that we're talking about, what comes to me as well, as you mentioned, meditation, and you were doing some early
Mm,
morning meditation with Umar and another
mm-hmm.
friend that you both have. When I think of meditation, I believe the stillness of the morning, as Wayne
Oh
Dyer
gosh.
says, there is a gift in the early hours of the morning. 3 a.m., he was very
Mm,
precise in saying that there's a gift that awaits you. And I have found that gift to be stillness. Be still.
mm,
And there's so much treasure that you can find in stillness
mm-hmm,
before you
mm-hmm.
get into the hustle and bustle of the
Yeah.
day. Just as you would feed yourself breakfast, feed your not
Mm-hmm,
just your body but your mind and your
mm,
spirit. Give yourself breakfast, pray, meditate,
mm,
and have that opportunity to just allow the beauty of
mm,
all that our Creator has given us to sink into your being, recognizing
mm.
the Creator within you. I
Yeah.
was amazed. It was last week that I went to the Indian High Commission here in Trinidad and Tobago's Ayurvedic Day. And then
Mm,
later in the week, I went to their Diwali celebration. And I was amazed. When it comes to Ayurveda
mm,
therapy, everything is about the balance, and not just the
mm,
body, but the mind and the spirit as well.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And I think it's so important that we embrace that we embrace life holistically. It's not
mm,
just about ensuring the body is well, but a well body comes from a well mind,
yeah.
a well spirit. So let's
Mm-hmm,
take time to really find that
mm,
stillness. I have noticed that when it comes to certain ailments such as anxiety or any condition in terms of the mind, it helps when we take that time to be still. And it's in
mm.
quietness we get that
Yeah,
peace.
yeah, 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 yeah.
As
You know,
within,
that
so without.
that
Yes.
is something that I do quite often when I'm in a place of needing to really tune in a big way. I
Yes.
often turn off my notifications on my phone. I tell the key people in my life, I'm going to be silent for a few days, and I zone in and I just listen. I stay by myself. I just follow the flow of my heart. If I don't want to speak to a certain person, if I don't want to do, I, you know, I make sure I schedule it around the time when I'm not doing clients or heavy duty amount of clients. And I sit and I listen and I even sometimes hear and through the negotiation or the conversation I have with God, And something that came out of my last introspective time was make
Mm.
sure and make time every single morning, like even before I open my eyes, like when I wake up, is to make sure and dedicate that to divine, to God, the creator.
Yes.
And that is really the first breath, and it's a learning thing for myself because I can easily get up and before I even say thank you, I would get up and start to get things moving even for myself.
Right.
And it's so important for us. But the train of thought that I lost came back. It just came back. Um,
Yes.
you were saying that I shared with you that intuitive information in a session. I don't know how long, probably 3, 4 years ago. And oftentimes I don't remember these things because God is
That was
flowing
in
through me.
2016. Yes.
Right. So God is flowing through me to bring this information to that person, and it's not my place to hold on to it. It's the
Yeah.
same way like God flows through us and to give us visions of ourselves. And it's so important for us to that stillness, that voice, to really listen to it. It kind of ties into what you talk about meditation.
Yes.
That stillness, that voice, that strong knowing, like it's a peace. But what sometimes kick us out of it is the fact that how is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Where am I going to find the
Think about the
funding
how,
for it?
the when, the who, the why, and that's something they
Yeah.
always teach you in school when you're doing English, and they're telling you in terms of formulating a story. It's just embedded in us. Think of the who, the where, the why, the when, the how, the what, and when it
Yes.
comes to being able to manifest, being able, as we say in today's terminology, live your best life.
Yeah.
Forget thinking about the who, the what, the where, the
Oh
when,
gosh.
the why, the how. Just do. Just go with that divine,
Yeah.
divine
Because we
time.
kick ourselves out of that flow. We kick ourselves out of God's flow.
Yes.
And it's such a process, and it's by no means as a twinkle of an eye or anything like that you can come back into that state. But you
Yes.
have to really catch yourself because we've been programmed as human beings to really be in that place of disempower ourselves, to listen to everything and everyone outside of us, from media go back, and to the programming of the world. And it's really like coming back to self. And something that I was guided to, I put on my list of something I wanted to share. Like, for instance, we have lost ourselves in terms of how we be, even to the beingness of eating, consuming, consciously eating. As children, you know when to eat. It's called intuitive eating nowadays. It's a term,
Yes.
but it's just, how we were born is just called eating. And I am currently working with a nutritionist who is very holistic, very beautiful soul. She's 26. She's spiritually attuned and aligned. And I've been working with her in terms of, for me, myself, I'm gathering information for myself. And I know I'm going to put this in some sort of information to share with other people. But coming back to listening to God, listening to ourselves, listening to within. And I think that is that we can talk about this for hours and for days because we have all lost ourselves based on society. I've told you, the medical system. I've told you, your parents tells you from the time you're little, like you don't know for yourself. Of course, they are there to train us, to teach us, to help mold us. But oftentimes, you find controlling parents may try to control. So then you learn control through through school system. You learn control
Yes.
through the government. You learn control through all these different things. And in this world of distraction, it's so important to come back to that stillness within ourselves and listen into God. And
Yeah.
the very closest people in my life now hear me say, God is my best friend.
As it
And
should be. As
yes,
it should
yes,
be. We have the
yeah,
same best friend, girl. That's the reason why
yes,
we rhyme so well together. That's why we enjoy each other's company. Your best
indeed,
friend is my best friend.
yes.
I want to say a special good afternoon to Sasha John Charles. Speaking of best
Hello,
friends,
Sasha.
it is great to have you on, Sasha. She says, I agree. And I'm
Yes.
happy you do. There is something powerful in what you said.
Mm,
You said, from the very school system, we
mm-hmm,
are teaching children control. I
mm-hmm,
agree with you tremendously on that. And I think very often, especially, we often talk about a West Indian upbringing. So
mm-hmm.
let's clarify that for our international viewers. What does a West Indian upbringing mean?
So we're
We often
Caribbean,
joke
yes.
about it, or Caribbean upbringing. It's
Mm-hmm,
really about the do as I say, and not as I do type
Mm-hmm.
of direction in terms of parenting, in terms of I said to, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to I am listening to you. You find that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have started to move away from that. And recently,
Mm-hmm.
I've really had that awakening that you're speaking about in terms of control, in terms of why is it we have it in such a way that everything must be this way,
Mm-hmm.
that I tell you, you must do this at this time. And I think Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, they have this way of parenting. I may not
Yes,
agree with
unique.
every aspect of it. I don't agree with
Yeah.
every
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it, but I do believe that we should create a safe space, a safe environment for our
Mm-hmm.
children in
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
they feel comfortable enough to speak
Mm-hmm.
up. We need to be able to
Right.
listen to their voices. We need to be able to speak to our children
Mm-hmm.
and have them speak to us as
Mm-hmm.
well. And as I say to
Mm-hmm.
my children, I ask them these days, it's not just, Mommy, what do you think? I say, what do you feel? What is your
Mm.
sensing? How
Yes,
do you
yes,
feel
yes, yes,
about
yes,
that? If they ask me
yes.
to do something, I don't just say no. I say, why?
Yeah, yeah,
How do you
yeah.
feel about that? What is so
Mm-hmm.
intense for you to be able to do that? One example, I think, as you would know, Narda, my children, they don't go to traditional school.
Mm-hmm.
They are homeschooled. They have a private tutor. And it really happened by chance.
Mm-hmm.
And my son, he was going to public school and he did a full presentation as to why he should also go to the system that my daughters were in before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, no, have the experience, you're older. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, no. And when he gave his presentation, I was blown away that he was able to deliver that kind of presentation.
Wow.
And I felt like, oof, this makes a lot of sense. And it's not always I teach my children. Very often they teach me. I
Right,
learn so
yes.
much from them.
Right, right,
Even
right.
like my son, again, I reference him. His name is Elijah. And Elijah, my firstborn son, he said, when it came to his hair, he said, why is it that within the system, the school system, he was still in the public school system at that time, they don't allow persons to grow their hair? But
Mm,
when you think about it, he said, they say you can't grow your hair, but persons who have a different texture than I do, they're allowed to because their hair can be slicked back. So he
mm,
really refused to because he
mm-hmm,
believed that his hair was not
mm-hmm,
just a matter of identity, but he felt that it was a personal choice and he has a right to be able to
mm-hmm,
choose. And he also felt that his hair is a very spiritual thing.
mm-hmm. Yes,
And when he
yes.
was able to give these different thoughts with regards to how he felt about it, I listened and I said, go ahead and grow your hair. So it's not just
Yeah.
do this, listen, listen.
Yeah, it's such a interesting. Oh, Jennifer, Jennifer, I have to take a moment. Jen is one of my sweetest clients. She is a comedian. She is in Seattle. So
Hi,
hi,
Jen.
Jen. Oh, she is, oh gosh, such a hoot. I love her. Absolutely one of my favorite people. You know, it's so interesting that we talk about children. Children can really teach us. Like I observe, because I don't have any kids of my own just yet, and I have my nephew. Oh, Zena. Oh, California. Oh, she's such a sweetheart. Yes. And my nephews who are 2 and 4, 2.5 and 4.5, they are such teachers. And I think even if we get caught up in they being the ones, the information that comes through them being the only thing that we learn from, I think the same way God could teach you through a book or through
Yeah.
a religious text or through just looking at the sky and getting like a clarity or some sort of download, the same way what children do or say can also inspire us in terms of information. And it's the whole thing right now is actually getting back to that state, getting back to that state of like listen in. They have this natural thing of listening in and to going what way they feel. The systems of the world is actually what have trained us out of it. And like your kids, I am sure, they have They have the information and the clarity, and they also like why they shouldn't. And there's a lot of children now. There's a lot of children on the earth for the past, I would say, 20, 30 years. Even myself, I'll throw myself inside of there. And you to Michelle, we're around the same age. It's like
Yes,
really realize that some things are not working. And you know what? If we continue to curb to it and continue to stick to that system and to that what doesn't really feel good, and
yes,
oftentimes it comes to authority institutions. I'm not going to just say like religion or the government or that kind of thing. It could come through many other schooling systems and all of that, that says you don't know, I know more for you. And so
yes,
that's again a lot of things that right there translate. Even I have found people who are in my field of work who are basically a mentor, a coach, or some sort of spiritual guide to a lot of people. There's a lot of people, they plug clients into them, and it's so immensely passionate about that, because they plug clients back into themselves, and they make the people feel they know more for them. So the
yes.
whole thing, like, how we work is, and mainly like through my work, it's like, no, 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 it's just I'm guiding you to trust what you know and connect right back to God.
Trust
So
what you
that's
know.
the whole, yeah, trust what you know. And that's, talking about intuitive eating, and talking about listening to your body when your body is really hungry, and are you really hungry, or are you thirsty, or are you craving something because you're emotional? Like listening to yourself, like, are you coming from fear? That emotion, the fear of like, are you emotional and you want to eat to comfort yourself? Hi, Susie, another comedian. My fellow puppy lover. She is, oh my gosh, such a hoot as well. Yeah, so it's like listening to ourselves and coming back to ourselves. I think that's the whole theme of life, is as we've been indoctrinated outside of ourselves. And oftentimes it's through religious teachers and leaders and people who say that they are connected to God and say, oh, I know more for you than you know. And when you get into it, you realize, oh my gosh, but my soul is saying no to that. Why? Listen to God. Hi,
Listen, listen,
Susie.
listen.
Yeah,
We are
listen,
great,
listen.
Susie. How are you? It is a
Yes, Susie, how are you?
Narda. Where is
Yeah.
Susie from?
I think Susie is in Maryland or DC or something like that. Susie, where
Maryland.
you from? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I think in
awesome,
that area, that neck of the woods of Virginia, around there. Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
So it is now that time, I believe, in which we can get right into some soul inspection. Yes.
Yes.
So what I'm going to share today comes from my book, Soul Spection, and
Mm.
it's available on Amazon. This piece, it is titled Deeds Around and Actions Revisit. The world is round, and so too are our deeds. A person is not paper. Cut him. Yeah, he bleeds. Now you are crying, but dry your eyes. Instead, remember when you told hurtful lies. The waves of the ocean return to the sea. Think of how you want your life to be, what you would like for you. Give to others. Remember,
Mm.
you are the keeper of your brothers. Every night, the moon revisits the sky. With what we do, there is no goodbye. Welcome back, past actions can say to you. So careful now what and to whom you do. So that is titled Deeds Around and Actions Revisit from my
Mm.
book, Soul Spection.
Yes. We are each other's keepers, we are each other's brothers. Hence the reason why I created a page 10 years ago called We Are All One.
We are
You guys could follow that. We are actually live on We Are All One right now, but the whole thing, wow, we are there to. The thing about this world, and as I keep mentioning Hawaii, yes, Susie's in Virginia. Yes, I keep mentioning Hawaii, and my trip Hawaii have truly touched my heart in terms of the aloha spirit. And
hi. Crystal,
Hi, Crystal. Yeah.
Sasha.
And the way of like taking care of each other. And I think, you know, coming back to the whole point that we are here to help each other. We are here to, even just a word or a check in or how are you doing? You know, you talk about, you ask your kids about how do they feel. One of the questions I love to ask and text my clients and check in with friends, how is your heart? And
Yes,
that's the thing, is help you to be present to your heart. And one of my sweet clients in Florida, she messaged me back and said, "No, I've never heard it like that before." And
yes,
she's like, "Thank you for helping me to come back to my heart, to come back
yes.
to paying attention to my heart." And it's so interesting that we are here to help each other. We are all here for each other. And the world, unfortunately, is full of a lot of takers,
Yes.
people who won't bat an eyelid to take, you know. And it's so interesting, like, it's like relearning the system. We're here for each other. We help, you know, first for self, you know, because we can drain our energies to be there for another person, but we got to come back to ourselves, union with ourselves, union with God, and then
Wow.
really,
As
yeah,
as you were saying that, and you're talking about, you say to your clients, come back to your heart. You know,
yeah, how
what's
was
with
your
your
heart?
heart? How is your heart?
Mm-hmm,
And you shared what you remembered from what I said in terms of, I asked my children how you feel.
mm-hmm,
When it comes to the students that I teach at Golden Voice Academy, when I'm teaching either public speaking or manifestation,
mm,
broadcasting, any of those things, I always say to them, stop thinking and start
mm,
feeling.
mm,
You want to do something well, feel your way through it.
mm,
Even when I'm on air, if someone sees me on air, I'm not reading like, I'm using my articulators and I'm moving because I'm
yes,
feeling and the music is going. And I would say something and I'm listening to the music, but I'm feeling what's happening and just blending with it.
mm,
And I'll be like, all right, so
mm,
here we have this one and ready, go. And I'm using my hands, I'm feeling my way
mm,
around. And this is what I always say to them: you will not get it right if you're thinking it, feel it,
yes.
feel it.
Yes, and it's also the things that we tend to like overthink as well for ourselves, and you know, like, even to that point of why do we get into our head so much? They say the journey of awakening is from the head to the heart, you know,
Yes,
moving from the head to the heart, and the feeling is so important. It's so important because any given situation or scenario that we tend to overthink, it really
yes.
calls out to us to really feel, go into our feelers. Brandon, oh my gosh, Brandon is in Trinidad. Brandon is an
Hi,
amazing
Brandon.
photographer. He did my
Ooh,
photo shoot in for the Guardian newspaper 2 years ago,
I
and such a
love that
darling.
picture of you. That is
Thank you.
beautiful.
That was Brandon by divine ordinance. I met him. Such a beautiful young man.
This is a
Yeah.
shameless plug. I have to be like,
He will. He will, Brandon. He's a beautiful soul.
yes. And
And
I'm
what Jen
seeing,
is saying here,
yeah.
yes.
She says,
What
what
he,
you would like for yourself, give to others. So beautiful. Thank you, Jen. I think I need to do
yes.
a half heart, or would it be with this hand? How would I have to do it?
Girl,
How do I get it
this is
straight?
actually my
This
right.
is the thing because
This is my right side.
I'm trying to do a heart. I
This
just
is
have to
all
do it on
flipped.
my side. This is for you, Jen. Yeah, how do we do it? That's
Jen is a sweetheart.
for you,
Absolute sweetheart.
Jen.
Yes. Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
so
seeing that
interesting.
Sasha is sending some love to Crystal Marie. And
Oh,
then we have Crystal Marie sending some love back to Sasha. Hi, Crystal.
love fest.
Love fest. Patricia Allen. She says, I'm here. A reach. Hello, beautiful souls.
Oh,
Hello,
hi
sweet
Patricia.
soul. It's a pleasure. Thank you so
Mm,
much. And Narda, let's get in now to some hard work.
yes. Okay, so you basically, okay, I forgot we were gonna have another clip, so I started talking. Um, Based on what we were talking about, the hard work, it really is. And this is for all of us. Trust me. I have in the past 12 years have learned to listen more than ever by force. And I urge people, more urge and encourage to don't wait until you hit rock bottom to start to listen. Don't wait until you have no other choice but to listen. Start listening now. So based on like what we've been talking about, my joy is always to place your hand on your heart. So yes, and everybody, you can place your hand on your heart and like literally close your eyes. Closing your eyes is just zoning out distractions, so then you can tune into your heart. And I'm gonna share two things. One thing, in connecting to divine, whether it's be for me, my beginning which have expanded out into spirituality with the influence of Christianity. But so then I have certain terminologies that I'll use that is Christian based. So for me, when I'm connecting and consciously connecting to God, which is we are always connected. Each one of us we are children of God. We're children of the Most High, the universe, the great I am. So you can never be disconnected. Our minds tell us otherwise, but you can never be disconnected. How I consciously connect to God. I close my eyes, I place my hand on my heart to be more present with my heart and myself. And I literally envision I am ascending. And I'm ascending into the heavenly realms through the passageway of my heart. As though it's like a portal, and I'm going in my heart and I'm entering into the heavenly realms that is beyond and beyond and beyond and beyond. And then from that space is where I have conversation with God. And to be honest, I have conversations throughout the entire day doing the most random of things with divine. So it's not like you have to go into this state, but this is a beautiful place to entering, especially when you're deliberately meditating or praying or that kind of thing. So my heart exercise or heart work I will have or encourage or urge you all to do is to begin feeling your feeling by connecting to your physical, placing your hand on your heart, eyes closed, and being present with yourself. And as you be present with yourself, you can be able to like you'll find like almost like a part of you that's come back into alignment because you were scattered before. And allow yourself to come back into alignment. Allow yourself to like all parts of you to come into oneness. And breathe. Focus on the breath. Breathing is so important. We rarely ever truly breathe and begin breathing. Focus on that breath of breathing deep in your belly breaths. And when I say we rarely ever breathe, I'm talking about the deep breaths. We breathe for survival, which is a very shallow breathing, but it's so important for us to like really be present there. And it's a first step to really start feeling. You want to focus on the feeling of the heart. A lot of us, when we begin feeling from the heart, we start to feel a lot of undesirable things coming up, a lot of past hurts, a lot of muffled things from our environment, from our workplace, from even as empaths, we tend to pick up from other people around us. So then you feel the undesirable things come up. I would suggest that you power through it. Sit in that space as your eyes are closed and just feel. Let it just move past you. Let it pass right through you. And if you find that it is really sticking or it's have placed you in a stuck place in that feeling like your heart starts to ache, it's because there's emotions that is trapped there. There's some stuff that you need to go deeper into yourself. I highly suggest that you take a note of it and then begin to ask yourself, where did this come from? Who does this belong to? And like with your hand on your heart, tune into it. And like if it's heavy or light, heaviness is a form like it's indicating that it's from someone else that you pull this energy from. If it's like light, okay, it's yours. You have control into shifting that energy. Now, if it belongs to somebody else, you're gonna say, God, Father, God, Creator, in whatever words in your own lingo, your own heart words. Don't ever just follow words of like repeating my words. Repeat your own words that you feel from your heart, that you come from your soul. Repeat the words of the soul. And you say to God, I release this to whosoever it belongs to. God, I send peace and angels, divine healing to this person, and detach yourself from it, meaning letting it go. Let it float out of you. And if it is very light for you, and then you realize that the heart is aching or there's memories of past things coming up, those are things that you have to peel back and like an onion, peel back the layers of it, and you have to feel and allow yourself to cry. A lot of people, to be honest, are very you know, hesitant. That's the word I'm looking for. Hesitant to feel. Allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to remember where it came from, and then in understanding. And sometimes you do need help from a professional like myself, and maybe a psychologist or someone who allow you to go through this process. And when you feel it, to like connect it to wherever in your childhood, and like, okay, it came from there. And then sometimes you need some deeper work than just breathing on your own. So my assignment and my little nugget of information today is just continue to feel yourself, feel your heart. Place your hand on your heart as much as possible in your quiet time. Zone out distractions. As your eyes are closed, breathe. Go into like a portal from in your heart straight to God. And now this is just the way that I do it. Now you will find your own ways. I'm just giving you guidelines, and then you will find your own interpretation, your own words, and make sure and say words from your heart. Never really, I don't ever suggest that you repeat words of a prayer from what somebody else is giving you. Just find yourself. Even years ago, a friend of mine had told me, even when you read the Psalms, and I know Michelle, you're a big one into the Bible and the Psalms and stuff.
Yes.
There's words
Believe
there
in
you might feel, yeah, and you find yourself into it. So then you literally go, and you it have to be words from your heart. So today's hard work is definitely to begin to the basic level of it is to start to feel. Pay attention to what you really feel. So we're so distracted by life and what we've been told we should feel, or you shouldn't feel, or why are you crying, or let's move on. Pick yourself up and keep moving. But you do have
Yes.
to feel before you keep moving, because you know what? That's going to become suppressed emotions. And as we talked about in other episodes, suppression leads to depression. And before you know it, you have all of this piled up here, and it shows up in the most inconvenient times in our lives. In the times that you're planning that vacation, and all of a sudden you go on the vacation and something triggers you, and like, oh my gosh, the floodgates of these things that are being suppressed opens up.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is my little hard work for this week.
You know, what came to heart and mind
Mm-hmm.
at a certain point when you were speaking was the importance of being childlike.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think of
Mm-hmm.
children, and
Yeah.
again, I say I learn so much from them. And we're talking feeling. But if you look at how a baby doesn't just, what's the word we use for children? We say they're thriving,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And that baby is thriving well. And what does a baby do? You're learning to walk, you're feeling. You're learning to talk, you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is what we need to get back to. Everything that we have been trained to do, which is the opposite of that, we now have to
Right.
unlearn those habits
Right.
and get into
Right.
feeling.
Right.
And this connects to the very first part of when we
Mm-hmm.
started this show in terms of finding that stillness.
Mm-hmm.
Just pay attention to how you were feeling
Mm-hmm.
just by taking that moment to be
Yeah.
still. I'm sure it gave you
Mm-hmm.
all the power you need to
Mm-hmm.
move forward.
Something as you're saying that comes to mind from not only my own personal experiences, but the experience of many clients, is that sometimes you go through something and you may try to adapt this way that we're talking about, and you like, no, I want to hate this person, or not me, and that's not my personal, I don't believe in the word hate, but you don't want to forgive this individual. You're fighting for that you know that strife, like that animosity within yourself. But then to ask yourself, who am I really fighting? Who am I really fighting? Tune into
Mhm.
yourself. Literally, there's an exercise that I give to my clients, and oh, look, we dish out a lot of amazing information here that people get, so freely. But I tell people, I say, get a notepad or a page, and you want to divide the page and write who, what, when, and why.
We're
And
going
then
back to that. Who, what, where, when, why, but in a different
who,
sense now.
yes, in a different sense. Who, what, when, and why. And then write what this person or the situation, whether it be the boss, whether it be your fiance, whether it be your child, whether it be the neighbor down the street, What is this person doing? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Get very human in it. Who's this person and what is this person doing? Da-da-da-da. Who, what, when, and why, and what are they doing? And get very human and vomit your nasty
Mm.
emotions on it. And
Get it
what are
out.
they doing? Why are they doing it? Why you feel that they're doing it? And two things I want you to look at. I want you to cross out the person's name. I want you to look at everywhere you put the person's name, put yourself or put
Yes.
who it is it really. Who
Hmm.
is it really? And then you're gonna read through it, you're gonna realize if it's not you, it was your father, it's your mother, it's your ex-husband, it's your school teacher, it's whosoever when you were back in your childhood. Um, and you're actually projecting this onto somebody else. And as I tell, I'm not by no form or fashion perfect, but I learned through myself and for my clients. So
Yes.
even times like so that's an exercise. That's a go-to exercise. Grab your phone, grab a notepad, and who, what, when, and why, and then you're gonna these experiences are not just experiences. So that's, oh, I had an experience. It's to really get to the bottom of who we are, to really bring ourselves back to a higher version of who we really meant to be, or may never have been that version, or bring ourselves to a version that we can't even begin to think that we can be. So
Yes. I'm seeing a message from Sasha John Charles. She says, when you feel it's important to also get in tune with what
hmm
you need to do to realign yourself if you're not in sync with yourself. And we
yes,
have Avalon Angela Alexander Timothy, and she says, I am late, but I am here. Hi, ladies. And she has been
hello.
on since the very first show. Hi, Avalon.
um
And
Thank you,
Marika
Avalon.
says,
So
working on the listening myself.
what Sasha just said, I want to piggyback off what you just said. And
Of course.
when our emotions are balanced, when we are in a state of gratitude and we're in a state of like we're thankfulness and life is going well, whether it's well from the ego or well from the spirit. Ego might be, or you God and you can't, you feel there's a high, you feel high from that, or it can be from the spirit where you're just grateful for sunshine. You're something simplistic as that. It's so important to keep a note or keep a aware list in your mind or on your phone or something of what really are the exercises and the things that really helps to shift your vibration or shift your vibe from a lower state and move you up the emotional ladder. And sometimes it may be a shower, another time it might be a nice cup of tea or
Yes.
coffee, another time might be like writing a gratitude list of like things, the simplistic thing that you're grateful for. I'm grateful that I have a bottle of water. I'm grateful, that I have a roof over my head. And the things, going by the beach, sitting by the water. For me, here in New York, I live close to the beach, so I go and sit by the beach and I take it in. It can be looking at the sky. Something as simplistic that doesn't cost a single cent. And yeah,
With what you
something's
said,
coming up there.
something, a wave just came, a beautiful wave of
Yeah.
energy. And the wave of energy that came is something magical is happening at this very moment for each person tuned in. And I would
Mm,
love for you to share it with us. So email
mm,
us at michellenarda444@gmail.com and let
yes.
us know about that magical goodness that just came by you being
Yes,
able to
please.
release,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
still, and relax. And
Yes.
Sasha
Yeah.
continues that, yes, I like to take walks in a nature spot. And
Yes.
she says, deep breaths and soaking in the atmosphere does it for me. Beautiful.
Definitely beautiful. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's so important because when you're in the lower end and the downward spiral, you are going down, down, down because one negative thought leads to another negative thought, and one negative emotion leads to another negative emotion. You'll find, oh, like attracts like, if the law of attraction, you're gonna find
Correct.
that you lose all the sense of your bearings and you lose all the sense of all the tools you had in that toolbox to shift your vibration. You
Yes.
conveniently forget it.
And
And
yeah, as you said, like attracts like. What we don't realize sometimes is when someone who may be getting on our very last nerve comes up, ask
Mhm.
yourself, what is it you do that may be getting on someone else's very last nerve? Why is it that person was
Mm,
able to enter in your energy field? What is the
mhm,
lesson you have to learn? And what are some of the things that you need to brush up
mm,
on? It's always an opportunity for us to do better. For example, Stuart Wilde, he speaks quite a lot about that in his collection of work. And Stuart Wilde
mhm,
says, that very often what people don't really get is the victim and the person who has created that circumstance of trauma, they are on the same energy field, and sometimes we don't
Mm,
realize that. So how could you
wow.
release yourself from that
Mm-hmm.
energy field? Sometimes you hear persons going through something over and over and over
The
again.
patterns,
So
yeah,
we need to
yeah.
ask ourselves, why are we going through that? What is the subconscious that we need to unlearn
Mm,
and get out
mm-hmm.
of us? What do we
Yes.
replace that with? Like attract.
Lesson repeats itself until it's learned. Yeah. And that is so true. It's like what is showing up for you and showing up for that person is an opportunity for both. You
Yes,
know, it's not just,
definitely.
and I think that's like coming back to what I've been feeling is the opportunities, the true opportunities. Magical goodness is listening to, oh,
Thank you.
Omar, thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you. And we'll thank you
Omar.
personally in Pakistan. And Big Time Drum says, hope I get on your good nerve. I am sure you would. There is something that I usually would say. If you're around me a long time, you would hear me at some point say, don't let anybody beat you at you. So when it comes to my nerves, I don't let anybody beat me at me. I just
Yeah,
release it very quickly. And I think each day, thankfully, I get even better at that.
yeah, yeah,
Each
yeah, yeah.
day, I get so great at that to the point in which it's either those who could have possibly had the potential to get on my nerve, they're there, but it's like they're not there because I don't pick up on it because I'm
Oh,
not
the
vibrating
charge,
on it.
yeah, the energy
Yeah,
charge behind it, yeah.
like my attention has switched, my focus has switched, and
Mm-hmm.
it continues to switch even more because where
Mm-hmm.
attention goes, we always say this, energy
Energy
flows.
flows, yeah, yeah,
And it's like
yeah,
moving from the left leg to the right leg. You'll get pain on the this side if you lean on it, but then if you switch, it's a different feeling. So we need to be
yeah.
able to switch, to move.
It's like it's so interesting because all that we're talking about, it's so important that to know that it's a process. It's not going to happen by the snap of a finger. It's a
Yeah,
conscious, committed process to want to begin to live consciously and live with awareness and to be consciously tuned in union with God and literally being conscious of, conscious union. And none of this is a snap of a finger. It's a process, and all of us have it in some measure, needing to work on ourselves. And no one person, from the time I think I posted on Facebook some time ago, but if a person says I do not need healing, that's a red flag, you
red
know.
flag.
And yes,
Yes.
Omar posted something.
He says the ego forces us to be right. So when you have the option of being right or kind, choose kind always. I love
Yes,
choose
yes,
kind
yes,
always. Yeah.
yes, yes,
Choose
yes. And
kind
another
always.
thing, the fool will beat you down to it, and when you at the game, choose your battles. And not even battles. It's not really fighting against anybody. We're not fighting against anybody. We're not
No.
competing. We're just all living and
Yes.
choosing to consciously live in harmony and in flow and in love with all that is. And yeah, but thank you, Omar, for that.
Yeah. My great uncle comes to memory, and I think it's because it's Christmas time. And at Christmas time, anytime he would visit from the United States, I would ask him, Uncle Courtney, what do you want me to get you for Christmas? And he would answer, nothing but love, my darling, nothing but love. And I think that's what we need
Oh,
to remember,
yeah,
nothing but love. Because if someone
yeah,
thinks they're doing you wrong, or even if you think someone is doing you wrong, we only do wrong unto ourselves. We only do right
yes,
or wrong unto ourselves. But as
yeah,
I spoke of
yeah,
my uncle, let's take a moment for a funny because seriousness is a disease of the ego. And
yeah.
with that, nothing but love. One year when my uncle said that, I got some boxes. I wrapped them up, had a huge one, wrapped it up. and I had, like these smaller ones. And when he finally, after unwrapping all these boxes, got down to the final one, had a note that said, "Nothing but love."
I love that. Oh my gosh.
That's what he asked for.
Nothing but love. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, take
Yes,
things
yes, yes.
light. So let's
Mm-hmm.
take a moment now to get into some feel good tips. Feel good tips. Yes, I was dancing to the music. I was like, what is your
Yes.
feel good tip, my
Oh
sister?
gosh, I think we've been sharing it right through the entire, every day. So many tips we that's throwing at you in terms of nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah.
Come back to self. Really, come back to self. Um, Not zone or distraction, but allow distraction to not be so impactful in your life. Like literally, commit, consciously commit to eliminate distractions to the point where it doesn't have an effect on you. Now it's always going to be there, but it's going
Yes.
to be, whether it be 10 miles away, whether it be not showing up in your reality at all, but it's always going to be there. And to come back to self, really, self, union with self, and union with God. That is, I designed a program a couple years ago with that. Maybe in the near future I'll start to offer that for in a group setting, but union with self, union with God. And
I
for
love that.
each person is divinely connected to God, and we are, there's no way you can be disconnected. Ego will tell you otherwise when you're
Mm,
especially at your lowest. But yeah,
yes.
do let's re-listen to this recording, the recording of this, like while we're doing it live right now, re-listen to it, take notes, because literally we've been dropping a lot of nuggets of wisdom.
We have.
And in between each thing that we talked about, we could literally build an hour on each thing at least.
Yes.
So there's so many things that you can, so many tips that we offered, and we can totally expand on it. But yeah, that's what I say. Come back to yourself. Come back to union with self, union with God, not necessarily with all these friends and all these distractions. And before you watch that movie, ask yourself: is this a distraction, and what is it distracting me from? Is it
Yes.
gonna be for enjoyment? Before you get on the phone and talk to a friend about this utter nothingness, ask
Is
yourself: is
it
this a
going to add
distraction? Or
value?
yeah, what are you distracting yourself from, and what are you should be doing? Your intuition is telling you, that thing that you should be doing. You should be, ever so often it pops that it keep recurring. Like, okay, you need to start working on your heart. You need to start working on, even now as we're talking, a lot of people may not even know there's a concept as working on your heart. Why do you
Yes.
think there's a lot of illness in the heart attacks, heart disease, heart? Because a lot of people have a lot of trapped emotions, a lot of trapped, undealt, unhealed, like suppressed emotions there.
Yes.
And come back to yourself. Even another thing that I can share: evaluate your body. What is the illnesses, or what do you have in your system from an ache? Go back to what part of your body. I tend to tell people also go and research the meaning of that. What is the meaning of it? Google. What is
Yes.
the metaphysical meaning of heart? What is the metaphysical meaning, yeah, of the heart disease, or
Correct.
migraines, or whatever? And start to dive deeper into yourself. Like, commit to really dive deeper. You deserve it. Yeah.
Can I tell you something? As you said,
Yes.
search the metaphysical meaning of something. I do that. And I'm saying that because what is so amazing, I was at Narda one day and we realized we had the same password for our phone. So we're not going to tell you what that is. But, and she just said that. And I'm like, I do that too. Like I would be going through
Yeah.
something and I would
Yeah.
look at what is
Yeah.
the physical meaning for, because
Yeah.
we always need to go deeper. Whatever
Deeper,
meets the
please.
eye,
Yeah.
there's so much
Get to the
more
root.
like
Get
that.
to the
Get to
root.
the root. Get to the root.
Yeah.
And Big
Yeah.
Time Drum says, "Can I get a sign from the both of you that says nothing for Christmas?" No, nothing but love. For
Nothing but love.
nothing but love.
Hi,
Ingrid Dobson.
Ingrid. Oh, Ingrid is in Trinidad. Ingrid is in Trinidad. Such a sweetheart. Yes.
Yes, she is. She says, "Hi, sweet souls, blessings. Blessing to you, my
Oh, Rohini. Oh, that's
love.
Valsine Trinidad over there. Rohini is representing for Valsine.
Oh,
Sweetheart.
beautiful. It is a pleasure, Rohini. A
Yes.
friend of Narda is a friend of mine, and vice versa, I'm sure.
Yes,
So
yes,
it is
yes,
a
definitely.
pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to welcome any questions that you may have. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and Narda and I will both take a dive at it. So now is the
Yes, with the
time.
best capability as possible.
Ask your questions. Ask your questions. And we remind you too, those magical experiences that I know would be
Mm,
coming your way, and probably you would have already gotten a phone call. Tell us about it by emailing michellenarda444 at gmail.com.
yes.
michellenarda444 at gmail.com. And with that, we say hello once again to Rohini, who says, "Nice seeing you, love." Oh,
Oh, love.
and
Yeah.
Big Time Drum says, "Nothing but love from London, UK." It's great
We
to
are
have
definitely having an international experience today.
this is an international experience, and it's great to
Yeah.
touch base with each viewer from around the world. And it shows us that really and truly the world is our oyster. We're also
Mm,
very much
it's,
connected. And location, it's really about perception. It's amazing what technology has
mm,
been able to do. It really shows that one world concept. Wherever you are, we are, and wherever we are, you are too.
yeah, indeed. And we are all one. I had to drop
We
that.
are all one. Go follow that page that Narda created 10 years ago, and it's so impactful. Umar says, "I want to make sure I can attend all of your future live sessions. Do you have a schedule anywhere?" Let's give you that schedule now. And that
Mhm.
schedule is every Wednesday, middle of the day. So, middle of the week, middle of the
Well,
day, middle of your
Omar
life.
is in Dubai, so he is the same time we started off,
Yes.
which is 11 a.m. Eastern time, is
Yes.
actually 12 p.m. Trinidad and Tobago time. Michelle is in Trinidad and
Middle of
Tobago,
the
so
night.
yes, middle of the night, after dark. Yeah, so Omar, it's literally at 11 a.m. New York time every Wednesday. So we're on live. Yeah. Until the time changes, as the time changed on Sunday, it was midday last week.
For,
So
for you, it would be in the middle of the dark. We bring the light.
love it.
We bring
Yeah.
the light. And in all
And also,
things,
I have to share,
yes, please go ahead, my love.
Omar, and whosoever is listening, we're gonna have this all like it's all gonna be recorded and it's gonna be on our YouTube and it's gonna be on our social media. It's gonna be on my Facebook, and we all I think like the day or two before, like Monday or Tuesday, we're gonna be posting. Look out for the live on Wednesday. Sorry, Michelle, I cut you. I just had to say
Oh,
that.
no,
Sorry.
no, no, my darling. That's okay. Divine timing with everything. You ain't cutting me. You ain't cutting me. You flew in. We just go in.
And we're
So, and
gonna teach some Caribbean slang so international people
that
from
would be
Trinidad and Tobago.
maybe today we could start with the word lime.
Okay, you're Miss Words. Okay, so you're gonna let's teach the people the word lime
I
from
feel
your
like I should have
perspective.
a ruler or something like that and
Okay, you're
get
gonna
into
get in your
code.
teacher mode.
Today we teach you the word lime. Can also be used liming, or you can be a limer. It is the equivalent of what the Americans would say with regards to hanging out. So
Yeah,
in the Caribbean, Trinidad in particular, we lime. Americans
yes,
hang out. Trinidadians, we lime. And while you may hang out, we also have it as a noun in which you can be a limer. That is today's Caribbean word of the day.
you're hilarious. Love it, love it, love it. So yes, oh my gosh, that's too funny. So
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you so very much, Omer. It's a pleasure. He said it's evening time in Dubai, so it is perfect for him. Love it.
beautiful.
Love it. And with that, we want to thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, you may have been shy to put those questions in the comment section, but I hope you're not. It's family here and
Yeah.
it's a soul connection. So feel free to drop any of your comments here. If you think of comments that you want to put afterwards, feel free to email us at michellenarda444@gmail.com. So I am seeing that Big Time Drum says, oh, he wants to teach another word. Maybe we'll teach another word another time.
Oh,
So
words are liable.
you're our kind of people. We love that.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
We want to wish you a
I really
fan.
do hope like what we shared today,
Yes.
that it have touched someone that who's watching or who've watched or who will watch this after, whether it be a year from now on YouTube. It touched somebody because we've been dropping information like may seem very simple, but it's quite profound.
Yes.
Really do hope it helps someone, or it helps. And even if you're gonna, if you know someone who can benefit from this type of information, please forward them the video. Please go on YouTube or forward them this particular video from right here. It's just let's help each other. Let's really, some people might just need that additional oomph, that push in the right direction, and may not be aware that they are total creators of their reality, and that
Yes.
they have more control over how they live and what happens in their life than they think.
Definitely. There's power within you. So as we are saying that and we're saying share it, don't just share, also follow. I think
Hmm.
now we're talking about nothing but love. Give us nothing but love. Don't just follow one account, follow both. Follow Narda on all of her platforms
Aw,
at trauma_coach_Narda, or follow
that's
myself.
Instagram. Yeah.
Yes, matter of fact, it's not an either or, it's an and. Follow us both. And also Michelle Borrell TT. Michelle Borrell TT. And Narda's website is www.nardamohammed.com. My website is www.michelleborrell.com. And we are also on YouTube. We are both on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook,
You're most
Twitter,
active on TikTok than
and
anybody
I
else
am
I know.
going to encourage you to be. That flight that we manifested in our last session,
Yes.
we are going to ensure we get you live on TikTok. When
That
I
would
see
be
you,
interesting, I must say.
yes, it would be. So we thank you
Uh,
so very much for your time, for
yes.
the warmth. I feel your energy. I feel its warmth, and we thank you for
Hmm.
it, reminding
Yes,
you that there is power within you. Sweet
indeed.
soul, your thoughts become things, and your words, mwah, they're your wand.
Hmm.
Use them
Yes,
wisely. Love and light to you. Michelle
indeed.
Ananda!
Bye.